But the one who comes is not a motto. It's a tall guy with blue hair and blonde hair. The boss asked if you were the photographer. The photographer said nothing wrong with him. We don't sell stuff. Then, this leader's aesthetic has reached the celestial sphere. Suddenly, he laughed. Haha, Thieu world, we are long friends. He is the man of the world. I was sent to you by a messenger to ask for a letter too. The boy also looked seriously. Ask questions about the SAO. I thought to myself, why does it look like you're here to cause trouble? He laughed softly and asked for a picture. My son also wants to see you. I would like to invite you to join the Dragon Guard. Long seal of the world. You can ask for anything. The photographer said, you're welcome. I've already told the outside world. We will not join any forces. About the word, I'll write a few words to make it easy for you to talk. You're a fool who thinks this boy. Let's see what your gas is doing. Eligible to join the Thien Long Guard. I don't know why the young man left. You have to recruit him. The photographer pointed to the side and said, please wait at my door and write. Then I'll take it out and give it to the 3 dragons who approve. In my mind, I know for sure. He knows who's wrong. We're here. Today, according to the Lord as command. Don't make it hard for him anymore. The child anxiously asked, these 3 people want to get a no like that. Just like that? He shrugged his shoulders and lamented the time so strong. They are the dragons. And there's also a fake astrologer. Fish children exclaimed Vu then Tong. How can that be? The photographer thought, my name is Long Thien Min. I knew he would send someone. But 15,000 cannot afford Kai Ra. Far less than Yang and Min Nuyet inflammation. Then he went into the room to get his pen and paper. Hold the pen and laugh. In short, agree with people. It has to be done. Stop looking dumbfounded. The focus is now on the spirit. Then the body explodes into 2 intense bursts of air. Stop the child from being surprised to realize the concept. The photographer explained, I've gained 2 kinds of power. Dark and light magic in Little Lin Lung world. I found out that there was some kind of magic in it. The ice of darkness and the heat of light. Of course, this is just a thought that we get. Compared to the creative power of words is far less. A lot of them don't want to spend money. But I want to get the letter. Then it can only be cheap and poor quality. The little fish laughed and covered his mouth. Ha ha. It is not easy to think that photography is still photography. So, I wrote a word and then said a word. The feeling is not enough. Long Thien Min sent people too. Then I wrote him 2 more words. Very quickly, Li finished writing. He feels even more. Inflammation with Min Nuyet, unparalleled. 2 words should be able to sense my intentions. Stop recording, go to comment. This sword looks like the previous one. He made a sinister face and said, write the words of that great power. It's imperative to achieve the same level. Bring the new Tao. If you write, it naturally doesn't work. Stop smiling and cover your mouth. It's really bad. The photographer quickly handed the letter to the 3 thugs. Long turned his eyes to the face of worship. Just look at it and think there's just a little bit of this. It's nothing special. I'm the celestial realm again. Maybe even I can't understand SAO. Then they turned their ass away. The fisherman came forward and said that this man was unrighteous. The photographer replied, whatever you give him, he's a fake. Notice what to do. I am still wondering if the SAO has not returned. There's probably no date with a pretty girl. The fisherman asked why. Tell me the details. Someone is at the door right now. The photographer happily commented, I really want to talk about Cao Cao. Say not. He even bumped into a dragon at the door. He didn't stop, but when he opened the door again. I'm surprised this person is a fake. Let me ask you to come to the disciples. What's wrong? Lin Chai laughed out loud, haha. I'm really sorry to bother you. Outside of class, I have a teacher. Please give me a picture. The photographer was surprised. I think the chain of false gods in Vuthen has you. Death everywhere. You can make him call himself Lord. Certainly not simple. Lin Chai suggested to say, if you want to write, we can also buy it for $50,000. The photographer laughed. The teacher then asked the students to write. SAO students can receive money. I'll just write a few words. I don't know which one of you asked for that. Lin Chai honestly replied, this man has always hidden himself. Even if you say Ra, you probably don't know. He was one of the 5 great figures of the Vu god. The world calls him an angel. Stupid photographer who thinks I know him. Angel god. He was the only one of the year. The stitching to usurp power. A life only loyal to God. It's only until the Vu gods split up. His age was high. The tide is coming. The angel also goes to heaven. The photographer said, if the master liked the word disciple, I will definitely try my best. The false command is easy to say. Anyway, we write the words. It doesn't take long. Just give it to the fake. Smiling, thank you for your kind words. I will pass it on to the angel. But I can't take your stuff. There is the protection of the angel. A period of time later, at least in the temple. You don't have to worry. Any world puts pressure on you. The surprised photographer really has a heart. Please wait a moment, and we will come out. And then he stopped and I went into the writing room. She was surprised. When you hear the name of God. The photographer confirmed that. He made the mountain. It can be a lot less of a hassle. It's not about saying, what noble position does he have? It's the opposite. They don't belong to any of the 5 gods. That's what it is. The world. They don't want to be guilty of that. The bank said it was the same as your situation. The photographer confirmed that. Thinking silently, I've heard of false gods in my previous life. Fancy protecting the geniuses, not joining the great nations. Not even my master moon. As well as his silent protection. No one dared to touch it. It's a shame that 100 years later, the gods are getting old. The inner circle gradually lost control. The trouble gradually came to the master. Then he sighed, reassuring not to think much more. Just focus. When he wrote these words, suddenly he fell into an empty space. To make a fool of you. Soon the writing was done. The photographer rolled up and ran out to give the chain. He is grateful to have studied photography. The photographer also bowed to the guests. Then, please go slowly. After Lin Chai left, he closed the door, laughing happily. Groan, even the false gods have come looking for me. Watch out now. I also have a voice in dance. If you think about it, someone knocks on the door. One by one, people pray. Of course, the government will not refuse. Based on impressions of previous lives, some people are serious about writing. Some people just go through the tangerine. Long Thien Min here. He's still thinking right now. Look at the sword that the photographer wrote. I finally got the touch. Even though there was only one thought, I was caught. Watch out. Inflammation Duong and Min Nuyet, unparalleled. Not much stronger than I was before. You can't touch it. It's because you don't use your mind. So he kept staring at the calligraphy. I can feel the heat and cold. But only like this. There's only this kind of meditation. You can't make Yang so emotional. There is another magic in this sword. But keep looking. But Thien Min Long, still distorted to feel more. It makes him angry to think there are no other memories. This is impossible. Maybe me and my dog. Min Nuyet is unparalleled. But there's such a big difference. Unless Long Thien Min carefully observed and brought his hands to touch. He noticed it was exactly the same. And the typeface is exactly the same as last time. And he wrote these 3 words very seriously. It's like deliberately flattering yourself. He's a newcomer to the temple. It makes sense again. So these 3 letters can't possibly be counterfeit. Maybe I just can't feel it. I'm in a hurry. It just takes time. And so time goes by. Long Thien Min angrily threw the letter to the ground. Crazy bloodfuck. In this letter, there is basically no concept. He paused for a few seconds. Then he bent down and told me to watch. Meanwhile on the side. Angel God, I'm looking at the 5 words that the photographer wrote. He exclaimed in admiration. I can't believe the words look so simple. To integrate the understanding of the great way of heaven and earth, even though I say these words. Maybe it wasn't his creation. But you're so young. You can completely rewrite it. These words. Really talented. It's hard even to say. It can be written in these words. No matter what you want to write. Then I have to understand the concept in it myself. This boy is extremely talented. Maybe later it could become a bad thing. Ha 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 ha, from the world of the little Lin Lung. The new genius is interesting. The little spirit world is truly a magical place. Don't know they can grow up like the Kier. Or not. The photographer here sighed tired. I said we're finally out of guests. He immediately dragged thousands of Lai Sun Hapo out to sea. Dance is amazing. Ask the photographer what this is. The painting of Ra. He said this thing is called 1,000 Lai Sun heap. I need 2 people to take care of me. We need to deconstruct civilization. Seal of this painting, Lai Sun, a map. I was surprised to think. This thing is in the hands of the photographer. It can even break it. This picture is not. Even the Supreme Master. I don't know how to use it. Serious photographer face probe. If anyone else comes, tell them we're not here. Thanks to you. The fish agreed to tell me to keep watch outside. The goddess is in this room. Don't worry about dancing. Immediately, the photographer began to show Tay drawing Uncle Van Le throughout the room. After a while, he breathed. When he finished saying that, he recited the mantra to mobilize resources. Stop children outside surprised to ask why. The air in the room suddenly disappeared. After freezing resources in the room. Then fold your hands to the picture. It's completely unfelt. Anything in the picture is 1,000 spirits radiating. It's imperative to break this outermost civilization. Nie Li photographed. Watch closely for a long time. Then suddenly, I realized that out of the sky, there seems to be a hidden agenda. This thought, it's not simply a martial arts master left behind. He sighed and laughed softly. I said it was a high-level god. It really shouldn't be for the 100,000 spirit stones. Sell the treasure to surprise others like this. I don't know the effect of the treasure. I will definitely keep it for myself. He left the creed here. It is not always possible to find 10,000 Lai San H. What are you doing? I want to wait for someone to figure out the effect of the painting. And take back Sao. The photographer said coldly. Fortunately, I was born quickly. In exchange, someone else will surely be killed. It's a shame you met the photographer. The enemy is a martial artist. I can't erase his memory. This will surely make him realize. They will soon discover us. Me and trying. I can't deal with a martial artist. He hesitated against his chin to think how. Then look at the picture. Then I thought, take the initiative if you've written a fake letter. Then do another painting. So he started rolling up his sleeves and getting paper. Carefully measure and count, trimming for original varieties. After the paper is the same. He's starting to paint. Hoist up the original. Look at the size of each detail in the picture. And then you put the pen up and you draw the first lines. Over time, the fake picture was completed. The photographer was pleased to say the same as in the picture. But now it's just a normal picture. So he pulled out the potion. In addition to that are the battles. The inscription on it is identical to the original. He sweats thinking. I think it should be enough for many levels of civilization battle. Finally, more souls poured in. Just an hour later, the photographer looked at his mixtape and praised it. Actually, NDTO can absolutely turn fake into real. This thought also perfectly moves on this fake literature. The writer thinks of a script at some point. Let your people try to bring along thousands of Lai Sun Heap to the world, a self-paced tour, a show of humiliation. Pretend to be injured and run away. 10,000 Lai Sun Ha 2 was robbed by the false power of other apostles. Takes a long time. It's hard for that senior to guess where the real goods are. Lake situation. I'm not sure if he saw this painting. Mine is not counterfeit. I don't look out anymore, even if I do. Because that high rise sensed the existence of the Tao. To find the work, it will definitely have to wait a while. You have to wait for someone else anyway. Discover the effect of thousands of Lai San Ha map. In addition to that, it's time to search for this fake. It can help me spend more time. It is best to get the counterfeit through your hands a few times. That's a little safer. He crossed his arms, laughing softly. The hidden thought has been dealt with. Is there any other trick? The photographer looked carefully. Feel the seal of the world. Have been touched by others. Some people have tried to open the door. This person must have suffered a lot. Even though it's not too difficult to solve the mystery of the world. Martial arts can also be felt. But under 10,000 spirits, there are many layers of the seal. If you want to break the spirit, it will trigger another seal. Even if it's a martial artist. If you don't study literature in 5065, I want to open it above Ra. There is only self-suffering. Fortunately, I have studied English for 100 years, in a time when I didn't love the letter. There was once a great man who said, "Treasures in heaven. Only German people can have it." He's wrong. If someone is better, that person is the right person. He said, and he put a pen to the puzzle. His hands fluttered as fast as the wind. The writing below gave off a golden light. The light is getting stronger. Unleashed incredible human power. At this point, the photographer was amazed that he couldn't stop. The illuminating words. And then a source of power comes out. As massively as a storm rushed Ra. The bright light made the photographer want to fly. He tried to say it was almost done. Absolute determination cannot be stopped. The seal will immediately lock the whole thing. Photographer screamed 7 bars. Feel the whole body's bones as if they're cracking. The body is almost impossible to sustain. Stunned people. The pen stopped and realized it was done. He quickly threw the pen away. Then put your hand to your mouth and bite the blood. Immediately put his own blood on the painting. Quickly solve it. Strong air dissipation seal. The air chamber is slowly dissipating. He sat down on the ground breathing. We finally got the firebrand. We've built a blood connection with us. I can't believe my skin is so hard. Almost. Bite is not torn. Stupid photographer who looked down at the painting. Put your hands on it. Then the painting is brought back inside. The painting appeared in the Red Sea. The tiger is not a tiger. 10,000 Lai San Hatu is the ancient saying. It's now in soul form. He became one with his soul. As long as your soul is not destroyed, it will also exist at the same time. Unless my soul is broken. This guy is looking for the next owner. Is my owner. Of course, you can summon it at any time. The photographer raised his hand to summon the painting Ra. And then the body gets sucked into the picture. Stupid photographer who looked around asked, "This is the inside of thousands of Lai San Hatu Sao. There are literally thousands of miles of rivers and mountains. The power of heaven is strong. It can be compared to the sky. It's not just a space here. It's also a field. But except for the freedom to enter the thousands of Lai San heap, it doesn't seem to be of any use anymore. In legend, 10,000 Lai San Hatu is a god of harm. It's caused countless wars. Several times changing owners. Every owner is a spirit of destruction. It's really an unfortunate thing. I have died once before. There's nothing to be afraid of. The use of thousands of Lai San map, I can slowly find out. It's very safe here. You can let Vajrayana and the goddess Deem to practice. Suddenly, I thought of something. I love Lake Ra. Suddenly, the writing on it suddenly glowed. Then do not yield to the absorption of celestial energy. The photographer uttered, although the power of tiger-loving dreams is constantly flowing out, but my own energy, it's constantly growing. The legend is true. 10,000 Lai San Hatu can feed other ancient gods. Then later I come here to love spirit. The photographer remembered that right. There are still angels with swords. What's it going to do? When leaving home, then suddenly a great power came. The sky in here is dark. The electricity came and made the photographer look stupid. Angel still pulls the sword to absorb the power of the celestial sphere. Then it's as if it's regressed into a giant. Photographer amazes. Angel still pulls the sword based on the power of your own destiny. Now that's provoking it. Power certainly makes others more awesome. Something temporary should still be left with the dream of Love Lake. Feed your husband. Do not know thousands of Lai San map. Is there any other magical effect? Really looking forward to. Sorry about my ring. There's nothing worth taking out. These 3 spirits, the present is the basis for me to run away from the lake. Even though every single thing I couldn't bring into play. The whole picture is shining now. African photographer jumps outside. Then, the illusions in the room that the photographer sealed. Then he solved it. The dance is curious. I wonder what kind of treasure this is. Let the living get inside. She saw the dance. The photographer was surprised and laughed. This treasure is 1,000 Li sun heap. There's a huge space inside. Later, you can go inside to practice. The surprised dancer asked. Separate space SAO can also practice magic gas. It's like a space ring. I've never seen anyone live in. So let's take a look. She said. She jumped in. The photographer laughed softly. Then he came back and saw the chicken sleeping. Take her up and tell her to go too. Tana followed the chicken, jumping in, floating in the air. Photographer laughed high. This is the world in the picture. Kim is worried. Then he opened his eyes in amazement. Immediately fluttered away with delight. To make the regent bewildered. Then suddenly, Kim looked up and screeched, and the chip opens its mouth to draw air inside. The powerful gas that it draws in. It makes the photographer nervous. The power of heaven is in thousands of Li sun heap. It won't be eaten by Kim. Here, the needle sucked so much that the belly swelled. It's like a round ball. It's too heavy to go straight down. When I saw this chicken fall, I thought, this fireman eats too much. Lucky for Li sun. This thing is still producing raw. The power of heaven and earth. The needle only absorbs a small part now. Even though Venus is still a small bird. But 2VI is already equivalent to a fake 3 fate. Moreover, its body is unmatched. It's almost championship. Unfortunately, it is not fully developed. Still can't fight. Right now, Vu Deem saw that she kept looking at the chicken. Dance Deem speaks up. The energy here is extremely abundant. And then it starts to fire around you. The photographer looked over. Appreciation VI of Vu Deem. The goddess also advanced quickly. At least to the point where we're strong. It is stronger than when he was a god. And he laughed and said, billionaire. So billions and thousands of Li sun, cultivation equipment offline. Dance happily agreed. She looked around and thought, this land is equivalent to a land. The future has a lot of work to do. Then he came back. Calmly go out of the room. The kids are watching outside. Call the photographer. Came running to ask how. He laughed back. It's done. It's merged into one with my sea spirit. Stop being happy and say it's good. I really think if you can break the treasure. That's the thing. High-level gods can't do that either. That's good. Laughing, he told me to wait so long. Take me out for a walk. Happy to agree. The two of you walk around the street together. Then they met the photographer and told him a story. It makes you stupid to ask. 10,000 Li sun, spicy food SAO. The photographer began to explain a time like this. Then you can do it. She replied, I understand. Just give it to me. But you are also true. Discovered the signature that the martial artist left behind. Think of a way to deal with it like this, submissive boy. Laughing, don't cut anymore. And then tried to bring back the letter ring for the photographer to say, this is a popular adult psychic love dragon blood. I just bought it and got it in a hurry. When you leave, Harry doesn't forget to thank you. He turned to tell the fisherman. There are no people here. It's also quite discreet. Wait for me a moment. Stop being full of questions. The photographer pulled out the picture. Tell me to train a demon. So stop to lags and continue the guard work. Through a few hours, the sky is also getting dark again. The two of them went to the hospital. He said the evening outside was very busy. Students of Fire God and Dance God. It seems to be gathering. I hear there's a competition between geniuses. I didn't try SAO. High rise of the three great powers. Give a reward too. The photographer nodded and said, based on my practice VI, I will only fight there. I have no interest in going further. When he opened the door, he saw the words. Laughing and talking. Suddenly, he was surprised when he stopped. I asked you if you came too. He laughed and said, I haven't seen you in a long time. The photographer asked questions about the motto. Where are you going for 2 days? I don't see you at all. The air on you is a bit wrong. You've already hit the 4th stage before. Go back to the 3 worlds and you will come to the world. The title also nods confirmation. That's right, I'm not careful. The photographer, near the voice, asked who did it. It's a star flower. The old, admittedly true. I came to the world wanting to bring a little something. I can't believe I was chased by the fire. He was almost killed by his men. It sounds so cold. Ask yourself how much power there is in the world. There are points. The power of the wind in the world. It's basically all gathered in the north, near the Spirit of Pearl. Just over 60 people. They are all false gods. More than 90% of the world's natural resources. The photographer's face was flaming now. Haste to reassure the photographer. Don't get excited. They have too many people. Based on their strength, we can't fight them. The fish also reminded the photographer. You haven't reached the 2 worlds yet. It's very dangerous to travel to the world. The mayor said to kill my people. Why can't you make them pay? I patted my shoulder and said, rest assured. I will help you get justice back. Surprised, he asked the photographer. How do you prepare? Smiling photographer. Haha. Of course, we're not looking for death. You don't need me. Let's go. We're going to meet someone. They are bewildered, but still go. They're out of town. Quickly to the place of luggage, etc. A subordinate led the way to the side. Multi-barreled air passenger photographer. Suddenly, there was a noise from the hospital of luggage and so on. I have a question for you guys who have guests. The subordinate confirmed that. 3, please wait outside. The mouth agrees, but ran closer to listen. They also run out of words. He stood by the door looking at his luggage. Inside, the 2 elders are talking about your grace. We can't help but acknowledge that the NDTO is actually, but it's still far behind the wind. The luggage is annoying. He said, maybe you don't have to say it first. The 3 elders continued. Of the 10 elders of the family, we've got 6 vanguard theoreticians. The next owner. The remaining 4 elders have 2 who support the current. 1 supports you, and 1 gives up. That Li Liu Shui decided. Withdraw from the struggle for the title of landlord. The full force of Li's assistant. We also hope you can think about the big picture. The manager commented on the 3 elders. If the water has given up the fight, then we're done withdrawing. But the request that you make, I can't agree. The power of reason that we have built in the world. What is the property held in hand based on? It's also about management. What right does he have to take over the property? My brothers and sisters. 3 elders say more about global inflammation. One owner is enough. Luggage said again. I didn't say a family needs two heads. But in history, the previous owner has no precedent. Reclaim all the forces and subordinates in the hands of other successors. What do we rely on in our turn? The three elders glanced at Van's luggage. You don't seem to know why. The manager asked what it looked like. I just don't understand. Li's power is stronger than mine. But his men didn't really see enough. If you want to recruit my subordinates, you can too. You must also get the consent of your brother. You can make conditions, as long as they are willing to carry their luggage. I absolutely did not prevent. The three elders thought. In the hands of luggage, there are tricks. The soldiers decided on one heart. I tried everything and threatened. That's promising. There is still no one willing to join the army. So he said, as long as you are dedicated to the Master of Arts, others will naturally listen to you. The manager said firmly, loyal to our family, we can do it. But he told me to go to the wrong place. He is not qualified. How many years has our family been suffering? In total, they hunted a demon. God-level maturity according to family rules. Give it to someone. You wonder. That year, my grace was actually weaker than the wind. Why should that spirit belong to me? Precisely because he is son of the previous owner. You can use a dirty trick. Ignoring family rules. I love that spirit first. Then, on the contrary, our power is increasingly ignored by him. But I didn't get the five elders to remind me. This position of yours is inappropriate. The three elders asked for Van's luggage. You still don't care about that year. That year's test results were no problem. Your talent is actually worse than your talent. You thought it was just a misunderstanding. The judge said there was a misunderstanding or not. I don't care at all. The elders, you have no power of your own. Based on something. Let the rational breath adopt the fraternity at hand. I turned to the five elders. You say it. We have this rule in our country. Five elders reminded Van luggage. This is a family decision. Because of the power you hold. It's an unstable factor for the inflammation in the family. Later, the luggage will laugh. You finally said it in your heart. That little prince of the wind. Even though our power is stronger than ours, but there's no human heart. No one wants to listen to him. You worry brother under my hands grow strong. We will compete with him. So we want to squash the threat from the egg. Is it right to let Li take over? You guys are also really hurting. The two elders were stiff-throated when they heard. The photographer here heard that everyone was surprised. I think the truth is that, based on the progress of previous lives, the family will eventually escape the family. Looks like they were forced to go. This happened after Li became the owner. It just happened. It's still a while. The manager is now dismissing guests. Two elders, please come to Cho. No matter what we will want. Let me bring my followers and my brothers. Give it back. Being the wrong hand for rational tendency. It's absolutely impossible. Three angry elders pointed at Van's luggage. Don't drink. Please don't drink. Want to drink, fine. Welcome to your luggage. I've never broken family rules before. Three elders, five elders you want. To force the SAO. Then go and find my brother and two elders to talk to. Three angry elders. He said one day, you will regret it. The five elders were cold.